Water accessibility status, possible alternatives. In Palestine, particularly Nuba and Kharas, water has been scarce for over 30 years. The Israeli occupation has controlled the cycle of water and conducted the responsibility for supplying the water authority with water. Time, amount, status, and water quality are fully up to the Israeli regime. In the summer, the water flow becomes quite slow, so people use water tankers, tanks, or wells to save water for the short and long term. Water scarcity tremendously affects the agriculture sector and the environments as a whole, which are ecosystem services. People who access water in Nuba. Based on my personal survey I conducted, around 17 people have full access to water with some scarcity, that they do not have the water all the week, and the amount, as we said, is limited by the occupation, basically. Here, some people have access to water, but they use pumps to flow that water up. Use of wells, they can save it. The percentage is very low. It's beneath 10. Some people purchase tankers, especially in the summer where the weather is really hot and dry. This is what interprets why people tend to not rely on the municipality, which is the main source of water. Some people, because of the financial situations, have no access to it. People, disability to water in Kharas. We have full access to scarcity. Now, I figured out that people in Kharas have more access to water because they are closer to the main source of water that feeds all the destinations in Hebron government. Here we have the full access with water scarcity. It's the same thing. Okay, they still suffer from the access. Some people use pumps. It's not a small percentage of people. You have others, but the number of people who use wells to save water much less than Nuba people, because I reported that it's too expensive to build. Now we have the purchase of tankers is few. The Israeli occupation attempts to deprive Palestinian citizens from water in hard times, especially the summer, because water will be much more needy. People who are in vulnerable situations or disabled people or whatever, poor people perhaps have no access to water at all. They cannot actually have the wells, tanks, or tankers to save the water or exploit it all the week. They might be cut off water because they don't have the tools that can help them with that. Now we have the uses of water resource in Nuba and Kharas locals use the water for domestic use and garden watering, because most of people have gardens. They sometimes water it. It depends on the times and amount of water. Some people use the juice for domestic and cultivation, but it's a few, and they reported that the reason is the fact that they cultivate only if they are capable financially and have space of lands, and the cultivation is a profitable project, then yes, it applies to them. We have domestic cultivation and commercial as well. Some people, those are just some people in the country who have businesses or factories where they will need more and more water. They might buy it, not necessarily depend on the municipality, but rather they might go back and say, oh, we will buy from the water over 70% of them use it for domestic only, because, if you look at the Palestinian economy, it is a lower middle economy where most of people are falling on the middle class. The more details about the accessibility, affordability, and ecosystem services concerning water. Most of the Nuba and Kharas population has no access to water, basically, without any argument, under the Israeli settler colonial state. We have here people have to purchase water. The water itself flows once a week, as people are responsible for water exploitation weekly. people have different choices on how to save and consume water as well. Now, when it comes to ecosystem services, all living things can only survive with water. And Allah said in His holy book, we make everything alive only with water, where water is essential not only in agriculture, but also in houses, companies, factories, for animals, birds. I can say see something also about the what people how they describe the water in both Nuba and Kharas towns. Now, some people consider it drinkable and clean, and there are a lot of people say that. Some people say that it's clean but not salty. Others say that it's clean but undrinkable. So it's clean, but it's not advised to drink it. But for the part of clean but not salty here, it's it's not salty. It means it's not necessarily good to drink, but you might drink it. But it depends if you like it's salt or not. Some others say it's contaminated. That depends on which pipe they are supplied by. By the way. So contaminated here, as I said, if because they are corrosive when it comes to pipes. The water pipes that a lot of loss of water because some of the map itself. So I would like to go to Nuba now. Now we have this well, and I will show you some of them. Now we have this well has its specific features that is not indifferent with others necessarily. You know how here its depth is 7 meters, the capacity is 70 cubic meter. You have its foundation in 1990s, and by the way, most of the wells were founded, 20 to 30 years ago, and that's an indication of its high costs while people were supported by the government, but now it's highly expensive where people tend usually to use plastic or iron tanks or tankers instead of wells because they will need a lot of raw materials to build it, whether from cement, concrete, blocks, workers. You need a lot of drilling. You might need a lot of time as well. The time, the amount, but it's highly serviceable and beneficial for you if you have a well. Now here, these are the maps we have. Basically, the main source of water it comes from Sorif here. This is the town. It flows in this kind of this line. It's not necessarily, but let's say an example. This line like this from the north to the south. So here, the water in Kharas will be stronger than the one in Nuba because it's closer to the north. So whenever you go to the north, water will flow will be much stronger. Here in Kharas, which was founded in 1963. It's old enough. It's 4 meter deep, uh, 40 cubic meter in capacity uh, mm, from the municipality. So not all people can actually, as we see here, can cultivate their lands, but rather use it for domestic or other uses because it depends on the financial situation. And the other factor is that water is scarce. Chase more water, and water generally is not free. Paid, okay, with a high cost. So if the project is not profitable for the farmers, then it's not advised for them to uh, uh, focus on farming and then they work as greengrocers, for example. Other thing I have to add is, as we see here, this is another one in Nuba. Okay, it's yes, built with concrete, so the municipality controls it completely. This town is in a mountainous area where the water is scarce. So it's not only that the water is in the north stronger than the south, but also the fact that if you are living in a mountainous area, you will be less lucky than those who live in the valleys, for example, where water will be going down. The Nuba municipality were yes with some talks, and we ended up saying with some suggestions. For me, I said that yes, why don't the new municipality have some clubs to tell people that they can buy, for example, a pump to the whole town. They when all people pay money, they will be purchase a big one. So this big pump will flow the water to all houses, to all these tanks. So people will abandon the idea of small pumps or wells or tanks, plastic pump, especially the plastic or iron that are unhealthy, and hoping that this project will be taken into account. And besides this fact, I would here assert on the fact that yes, the president is looking for planting a new big tank in the summit of the mountainous areas, so the water will go up to down to supply all areas only on Nuba. Although we have some hinders and obstacles from water, because there are some claims that water is being stolen, or the water pipes are not well structured, well, placed. So there is a lot of loss in water. This is where people are complaining. I hope this project will help people to remember that they have to consume water productively, efficiently, and wisely, because it's scarce, especially in their everydayness, where the the water comes only once a week. So you have to consume it for essential things, and depending on your financial situation. Uh, you have to teach your children, your family members, not to consume water on something useless, and water will flow to their neighbors. Okay, and there, then no one will defend them. So each one has their each location has a specific day where you know when the water flows. Okay, so the person has to be committed to the schedule to immediately use the water pump and exploit that water to be consumed all the week. Also, besides the every day-to-day water consumption, I would emphasize the importance of also exploiting water in the summer, where the weather is hot and dry, and the Israeli occupation, intends usually to deprive people in that time, especially as it's really a hard and difficult period. So people have to, they should have saved a lot of money in the winter from the rain or from the municipal source to consume it in the summer, or have some money to purchase water tankers to consume it in that time, so that they will not be affected by the Israeli, compelling, uh, you know, practices on the ground. So yes, this is an occupied territory where people always have to be wise and be, productive in their decision making, uh, always not to be all affected by any policy the Israeli occupation makes. Thanks for now. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to communicate with me.